What is the pronoun in the Lord's Prayer? Anybody ever notice what the pronoun is in the Lord's Prayer? It says, lead who not into temptation. What's the pronoun? What? What is it? Us. Lead us not into temptation. Amen? You listen to them behind you? That's all right. Don't let them come here. Lead us. Give us this day our daily bread. Amen? Right? The pronouns throughout the Lord's Prayer is us. You know why? Because God never intended that you would be praying alone. Or that you'd be only praying for yourself. I think that's cool. I like that. The idea here is that we put our prayer requests up there, that we're praying together for one another, to be there for one another. Amen? All right. All right. So just avail yourself for that. I know we got the Crowder concert coming up. We got 16, 18 people going to that. Looking forward to that. That's in October. Not this Wednesday, but we're shooting for the following Wednesday night. We're going to start getting some other things kicked off. God's been gracious. God's been good. Brought some people in here that have some experience in working with young people. Something like an Awanas class. Probably not going to be exactly an Awanas class, but it'll be on Wednesday night. We're working on that, and along with that, a 7 through 12 youth group thing we're trying to get put together. So look, we need prayers about that too, for everything to work out well and to continue to move forward the way it is. So just be praying about all that. This morning we're going to be in Luke chapter 16, and I'm going to talk to you this morning about probably the most difficult doctrine in the Bible. The one that most people don't want to talk about, the one that seems to fade to the background, that gets pushed aside, that in our day and time would probably feel perhaps doesn't even exist anymore. But in Luke chapter 16, Jesus is pretty direct about his take on this. And I want you to know something. There are three things in the scripture that stand out for certain reasons. Number one, there's one that Jesus spoke more about than anybody else in the Bible. There's a certain topic that Jesus spoke more about than anybody else in the Bible. Then, there's a certain topic that Jesus just spoke more about than anything else he talked about. And then finally, there's a third thing. There's only one thing that finds itself revealed in all four of the Gospels. So over the course of the next 3 weeks, we're going to take a look at those things. Because if they're unusual and they're presented in a different light, I feel there's an importance that God's trying to get across to that. So like I said, one thing that Jesus spoke about more than anyone else in the Bible. Second is that he spoke more about this other topic more than anything else, period. And then there's one thing that's repeated. There's only one thing. Think about that. In the harmony of the four Gospels, there's one thing that keeps coming up over and over and over and resides in all four Gospels. So we're going to look at that also. We're still looking at the fact that believing is seeing. That we work on a different level than what the world does. It's not about seeing to believe, it's about believing to see. And you've got to have a heart of belief. Without faith, it's impossible to please God. Evil heart of unbelief kept the Israelites from getting into the promised land, put them 40 years back out in the wilderness. You've got to be willing to believe, not me, but what this word says. This is a hard topic. Nobody wants to talk about this anymore. And you know what? I have to wonder about myself. I have to examine myself before I can even talk about it. Because I don't want to come across as so many knuckleheads that I've seen in the past that act like it was a beating stick or something to threaten people with. But if Jesus spoke more about it than anybody else in the Bible, if he brought it up repeatedly over and over again, then I'm compelled to do the same thing. Amen? Anybody? Come on, everybody awake. I already put you to sleep. Because we're going to talk about hell this morning. Because there's a real hell that's coming down the road for those that are unsaved. Jesus speaks about it right here in Luke chapter 16. And you know what? It makes us uncomfortable. Okay? Probably some people are like, man, the first time those people are being here, the pastor's going to, preach on hell. He should have said something sweet and loving and kind. Well, don't worry. The story of hell ends with a sweet, loving, kind wrap-up on the end of it, amen? But we have to understand the threat that we are under. So let's look in Luke chapter 16, verse 19. It says, there was a certain rich man who was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores, and desired to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. And moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried, and in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water, and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented. And beside all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from hence. Then he said, I pray thee therefore, Father, that thou wouldest send him to my father's house. And now this rich man saying, I want you to send Lazarus to my father's house, for I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come unto this place of torment. And Abraham saith unto him, They have Moses and the prophets, let them hear them. And he said, Nay, Father Abraham, but if one went unto them from the dead, they will repent. And he said unto him, If they hear not Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded, though one rose from the dead. Let's pray. Father, I just lift this scripture up to you, Lord. I ask you just to temper my heart, Lord, and to control me under the anointing of the Holy Spirit, to say exactly what you have for me to say here this morning, no more, no less, as always. Glorify yourself, reach out and grab our hearts this morning with the truth of a place called hell. Father, just move now. We love you. We look to you. We thank you for your goodness and your mercy. In Jesus' name, amen. We live in a day and time when nobody's responsible for anything. Isn't that the truth? It's always somebody else's fault. There's always some reason. There's always some excuse. You know, I was made that way. It's just a fault I have. It's just a failing I possess. Would you agree that personal responsibility has been just thrown aside? It doesn't seem to matter what anybody does to anybody. There's some reason that it happened, some reason it occurred that makes it where it wasn't really their fault. I didn't get enough hugs growing up. Mama was, was too skinny and Daddy was too fat. I mean, it was just whatever, man. It just gets to the most ridiculous stuff. But God says there is an accountability. You know what? Looking out right here, God says, you know what? You're grown-ups. You're fully mature. Okay, not all of you, because you stay there next to mama. But the rest of you get my drift. God says, as a grown adult, let's just do it that way. As a grown adult, you have understanding when spoken to. And when something is clearly presented and you are laid out before you what is right and what is wrong, then you make a conscious decision at that point about which way you're going to go with it. Amen? Is that not correct? I'll take any amens I can this morning. Come on now. Maybe walk across the pews again, because I'll do it. But there's a place. Amen. Amen. That's right. There is a place called hell, and Jesus had to talk about it because it's the fate of all people apart from him. I want you to hear that. Jesus had to talk about hell because it's the fate of all people apart from him. Because he was adamant in John 14:6, the most audacious statement ever spoken, I believe. When Jesus looked at the crowd and said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no man, nobody, no how, no way comes to the Father, gets to heaven, but by me. Amen. Unless you can back that up, that's just an insane statement to make. So then Jesus goes in behind that with these teachings about this place that you can end up in if you're not careful. You know, we wonder, why would there be such a great punishment? Why would there be this place called hell? Well, I want to start out this morning with making you understand that it was required. There had to be a hell because of what took place in heaven. In Isaiah 14, we find in verses 12 through 14, where Lucifer, who is known as the light bearer, who is under Jesus and is supposed to lift up glory and praise to him, begins to look around and notices how beautiful and how perfect and how wonderful he is, and begins to believe that he's the one that needs to be worshipped instead of the one he's directing worship towards. And he says, I will sit also in the mountain of the congregation of the north. And listen, I want you to get this, for you Bible scholars. I believe it's pretty much like this, that you have the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And under the Father you have Michael. And under the Holy Spirit you have Gabriel. Because you see Michael in the Old Testament is the conveyor of truth, accomplishing the Father's will. You see Gabriel in the New Testament is the one that brings the announcement, just like the Holy Spirit brings the announcement of Christ into our hearts and into our lives. And then you had the Son, Jesus, with Lucifer as the archangel underneath him. So everybody's in position. I want you to understand that heaven's not just a hodgepodge of things, and there's no order and there's no decency to it. So that at some point in time, Lucifer looks around and he determines that he's the one that needs to be worshipped. And he wants to take what? He wants to take Jesus' place. And you know what he's yet trying to do today? He's trying to take Jesus' place in the human heart. Amen? Nothing has changed. There is no new thing. So he determines that he's going to ascend into the congregation of the north and sit also amongst those that are the Most High. And the Bible says he took a third of the angels with him. Why? Because he's one of the three archangels, and he had his third, and he infected them with this concept and this idea that we're going to put me in charge, and we're going to do things the way we want to do it. So at that point in time, the other two, Michael and Gabriel, took their 2/3, and the war was on, and Satan was cast out. Now, I'm going to tell you this. There's nothing, few things. I cannot think of many things in life that are worse than betrayal. Of someone that you love, someone close to you, someone that you're confident of, someone you would call a friend. And it ain't going to be a good friend, amen? Because betrayal just hurts. And the closer the relationship, the more painful it is. And betrayal is heinous, and we believe betrayal to be wrong, amen? The whole concept of biting the hand that feeds you, turning against those that have done you right. I mean, almost unanimously we agree that that should not be happening. That should not take place. And here we find ourselves faced with the greatest betrayal ever. And that's why I tell you this morning that there had to be a punishment made in order to fit the crime. There had to be. And hell was required. And it was created in eternity. You know, when we get into the scripture and you hear in Genesis 1:1 it says, in the beginning, that's not talking about in the beginning of all time. That's talking about in the beginning of our story. But these things I'm speaking to you about right now had taken place in eternity past, and hell was already created. Because Matthew chapter 25 and verse 41 says it was prepared for the devil and his angels. Amen? It was not made for human beings. It was not made for me. It was not made for you. It was made for the devil and his angels. And it was done in eternity past before we ever get to Genesis 1:1. And then God creates the heavens and the earth. And he sets man up to rule over everything. Man names all the animals. Man is then given a wife. It becomes mankind, the man and the woman together. And then they find themselves in the garden. And then this same one that rebelled against God shows up. And what does he do? He encourages them to do the same thing he did. To rebel against God also. Do you see where the problem comes in? That if we sit here and we say, you know what, he deserves that because he rebelled against God. And then we look at Adam doing the same thing. There's nothing else to be said except, you know what, he deserves the same punishment that fits that crime. Because you're not supposed to rebel against God. You're not supposed to stand against him. We don't think Lucifer's supposed to, do we? Then you know what? It comes across to us also. As Adam and Eve ate the apple and sin entered the human race. And there's not years of that and have turned to our own way and rebelled against God ourselves. Amen? So we deserve that punishment. And that's terrifying. Matter of fact, that's why I got saved. Amen? I got saved because of that. People say, well, you know, getting saved because you don't want to go to hell is not a good reason. I'll tell you, it's not a bad reason either. Amen? No thank you, Pax. I've just burnt myself a couple times. The whole flaming torch thing, no thank you. I'm out. And seriously, it was over nothing. It was over from this guy telling me that the absent from the body was to be present with the Lord, and my realization that he knew where he was going and I didn't, and it terrified me. Terrified me. I mean, I was in basic training. I'm running around on the cattle cars, and everybody's in the back trailer, and the dude up front's just driving 100 miles an hour, took me around on the military base. And after I heard this thing, I'm in that thing, and I'm terrified. I'm going to crash, and I'm going to just get killed right there. Then I had to fire my M16A1 rifle, and I'm down there, and they're talking about you get sand in the barrel, and it'll blow up in your face. And I knew I was going to die and go to hell right there in that little square hole in the dirt. And then the end of the week, we had to throw the first time ever in my life, and last time I ever had a live grenade in my hand. And God made me walk down the whole long thing, stand behind that wall, watching everybody else throw them. And I'm thinking these things are made by the cheapest bidder. Amen? And I mean, I dropped this thing, and if that guy had known how terrified I was, he'd have never handed it to me. It wasn't because I was scared of the grenade or whatever. I just didn't want to go to hell. I just knew something was going to go wrong. And that was all I could take. I finally went back to the barracks and I found those guys. And in the waiting room, I gave my heart to Jesus because I didn't want to go to hell. Whew. And now I'm not. Amen? You know, we don't like talking about it, but when you start understanding a little bit about it, it makes it a little easier. Yeah, it was required because of the sin that took place in heaven. We get involved in this thing because of our rejection of Jesus Christ. Our rejection of Christ. The rightful King. The Creator that made us. Luke 19:14, I just love the way this verse puts it out. It said, and they would not that man should reign over them. I said, I will not be told what to do. I will not have one over my head. I will not have one reigning over me. I will do as I please. I will make my own choices. I will be my own man. I will conduct myself how I want to. That rejection, that attitude, is what brings us into condemnation. And we all have it because we're all sinners. We're all sinners. You're not going to hell because of the individual sin. You know what? You're so far past that. I want you to understand that. You get that? You're so far past that. You don't even remember all the sins you've committed. Amen? Let's just get right after it, okay? You have no way to keep up with all that. That's washed down that creek, man. It's so far gone, there's no catching up to it anymore. You know what the problem is? Not that you sin. The problem is why you sin, and that's because you're a sinner. Amen? And you know what? You're going to do it again. Amen? Most likely today. Almost more positively tomorrow. Okay? You ain't going to go very long without it happening again. Amen? Let's just get real here. We have an issue. Correct? You get frustrated, get angry, get hurt, get sad, get jealous, get whatever, man. I mean, it's just there. There's nothing to do with that. So it's not the fact that we go to hell because we have all these sins. It's because we reject the one that can save us as a sinner. That's it. The one that can grant forgiveness. That can make this situation different. That can make the outcome the opposite. Amen? So it's required. Yet we reject it. Yet there's a remedy. Good old-fashioned word. I love this word. Anybody got any idea what the word's going to be? It's called repent. Repent. Greek word, metanoia, means you just change your mind. You know, that's like when you go, but when you having that, I don't want to use the word argument maybe, but that conversation with the spouse, you know, and suddenly you realize you're wrong. That's metanoia. You're all up in the middle of that, man, you're adamant that you got this, and you know what you're talking about, and then they bring up something you didn't think about, and you're going, never mind. That's metanoia right now, when you realize that the other side's correct, and you're not. That's what God calls us to do in order to get into heaven. See, we think, Luke chapter 13, verses 1 through 5, Jesus begins presenting these examples of these guys that died in some pretty amazing fashion. You know, Pilate had killed them while they were offering sacrifices and mingled their blood with the sacrifices. Others that were building a tower and it fell, and he says, do you suppose that these were sinners more than the rest? And that's why they died like that. He said, hey, he said, I tell you, except you repent, you're all going to likewise perish. There's no level here. There's no greater than less, and we still think greater than, well, yeah, that murderer deserves to go to hell, you know, that one that's cheating on his spouse, maybe not so much. God says it's all sin. It's all sin, it's all wrong, and it all brings death, that the wages of sin is death. And all of us have fallen short, and all of us have done it. That's why Jesus had worked so well for him when he stood there that day and said, you that are without sin, let him first cast a stone. Because in those conditions, nobody can do anything. Amen? There's a remedy to this thing. It's called repentance. That is acknowledging that God's right about who you are. God's right about what this situation is. God's right in his revealed truth. But see, that's the whole problem in the beginning. We were meant to live by revelation. We ended up living by reason. So we reason out that it just can't be that bad. I mean, because everybody does it. It can't be that big a deal. See, that's what the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, that's what it was. That was our ability to reason. That's why God was trying to keep us away from that. Because as soon as we got that, we got to be like him. We started trying to figure things out on our own. And you know what? We're not good at it. Amen? You know what decisions you've made in your life? Huh? You've made some amazing decisions in your life, haven't you? Yeah. And other times you've made some amazing decisions in your life. That's right. We don't do this reason thing very well. God says, just listen to me and live by the revelation that you need my son to pay for your sin debt, so that you do not go to hell. Because here's the deal, here's the rub. It's got to get paid for one way or the other. Because God is good, but God is also just. And it wouldn't be fair to everybody else if you just got to go free. Wouldn't be right, would it? I mean, how many of the 100 murderers get to go free? What's the right number on it? What's the right call on it? How many of the 100 thieves get to go free? When we start thinking about this in realistic terms, then you can't just pick and choose and decide who does and who doesn't. Amen? If you're guilty, you're guilty. Amen? So it's about repentance. Transformative change of heart, evidence of changed attitudes and deeds. I want you to know something. You say, well, how can all this wrap up in one event, this cross right here? How can all this wrap up in that? How can, because see, hell's an eternal situation. Okay? It's an eternal place. Matthew 16:23 says of eternal torment. You hear this guy crying out in eternal torment. Mark 9:43, unquenchable fire. Mark 9:48, where the worm dieth not. Matthew 13:42, where there's gnashing of teeth. Matthew 25:30, a place of outer darkness. A place of utter torment. I do not want to be surrounded for eternity with screaming, tormented people. Never any peace, never any quiet, never any relief, never any relief. But if I choose to pay for my sin myself, if I choose to go my own way, if I choose to go according to my reason, that's where I'm going to be stuck, because I'm going to have to deal with the situation, because there's no way I get around the God that created me. I can't do it. I can't escape him. I can't get away from the fact that there's going to be a payday someday. I can't get away from the fact that I'm headed down a road that's going to put me face to face with him before this thing is over with. And though I might try to imagine my mind has a long way off, you know what? It's not going to be that long, because nothing's that far off. And the older you get, the more you realize nothing's that far off. So how does this cross satisfy that? Simple. I pray you get this morning. That one who is finite, that means has a beginning and end, must suffer infinitely to pay for sin. Or one who is infinite can suffer for a finite period of time and pay for that same sin. You understand that? See, I have a beginning and an end. So, I have a beginning. I'm finite here on this planet, here on these actions. And so I would then have to suffer infinitely to pay for the sin I've committed. Jesus, who was infinite, eternal, had to suffer for a period of time on that cross, in the 3 days in the grave, in order to pay for sin. See, that works out. That's an understandable situation. So the one who is infinite took my place, took the finite one's place. The one who has the one who is from everlasting, took the place of the one who came along in March 26, 1964. And he took my place there on that cross and paid for my sin debt through the shedding of blood, because without the shedding of blood there is no remission of sin. Paid for my sin debt so that I can step away from it. So I can be set free from it. And now you know who Jesus is? You know who he is? He's the hero of all mankind. He is the dispenser of salvation. It is free for the asking. He says, come unto me, all you that are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. He says, those that come to me, I will in no wise cast out. All you have to do is humble yourself and ask. And you become a new creature in Christ. Can it get any better than that? That one came and took the punishment for us. You know what? There's no way you can ever stand before God and throw the accusation at him when we were the ones that were wrong, and he gave his only beloved Son to take that punishment in our place to set us free, and we decided we didn't want that either. Amen. Let me tell you this morning that God wants to save you. On that cross right there, you see both things at the same time. God is so beautiful, spectacular. I'm going to tell you what, on the cross, you see the wrath of God against sinners. You see the brutal abuse, suffering, pain, sorrow. You see the hands nailed down because they were always reaching to do wrong. You see the feet nailed down because they were always walking places they shouldn't go. You see the head encircled with a crown of thorns because it was always thinking things it shouldn't think. And you see the wrath of God poured out against mankind there on that cross. At the same time, you see the love of God because it's him taking the punishment for you so that your hands can be unnailed, your feet can be set free, and your head can be unswirled, and you can walk away in victory and step away from those things. Amen? Saying he deserves a hand for that. Amen. The love of God displayed there for you. But understand this, it might be free, but it wasn't cheap. It was heaven's best on that cross. It was heaven's best. It was Jesus. You come this morning, give us a little music. This morning, my only question is, where are you this morning? Are you on that? You're on one of two paths. There's a narrow way and there's a broad way. Narrow way leads to heaven. It's entered through this cross right here to get on that pathway to where you're headed toward heaven. There's a Broadway that the whole world says isn't that big a deal, doesn't matter. There's excuses, there's reasons, there's shortcomings, there's failings, there's all this stuff in, and all this conversation goes along with it, but that Broadway is leading to hell. God has done everything necessary for you to be saved this morning. You stand this morning. This is the message He's given this morning. I don't know why. I don't ask Him, I just praise Him. This morning, are you sure right now, you stand here this morning knowing that you would go to heaven if you died? If not, you can. He says, come unto me, and I will give you rest. He says that whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. You can be saved here this morning, right now. Change it. He said you can be a new creature in Christ. Old things can be passed away. Everything can be made new. Christians, if you've got friends and loved ones, if you've got neighbors, if you've got co-workers that aren't saved, you should be coming forward to pray for them. I don't care how long it's been. I don't care how long it's drug on. God can change these things. God can make different. God's speaking this morning. He's given this word this morning. Come pray for them. I'll tell you something. There's nothing worth going to hell over. Like I say, the Delta 5 Creek weight room, people working out around me because I didn't care who saw me because I wasn't going to miss out. Different when you preach messages like these this morning. There's that weight, there's that draw, there's that movement. What will you do? You have to make your own decision. Nobody can make it for you. Jesus calls out and says, come unto me, and I will give you rest. Those that come to me, I will no wise cast out. Whosoever calls upon me, shall be saved. Father says, I so love the world that I gave my only begotten Son, that whosoever believes on Him should not perish but have everlasting life. John 3:16, the verse you've heard your whole life, declares it over and over again. The verse you see at football games, held up on cardboard signs, declares it over and over again that there's a God that loves you and wants to forgive you to such an extent that He gave His only beloved Son. Whosoever believes in Him should not perish but have everlasting life. Come and experience everlasting life. Come and have everlasting life this morning. That unbelievable love of God that sought you out, that sought me out. I stand before you this morning rejoicing because I'm headed to heaven. A place where eyes not seen, ears not heard, nor that entered into the heart of man the things that God has prepared for them that love Him. I stand here rejoicing this morning because I know that all things work together for good for me because I love God and I'm called according to His purpose. It can be the same thing in your life. Everything can be made new.